Welcome to another episode of Minneapolis by Night. This is a vampire slash social scene that is going to take place. Beauregard needed to speak with princes, and they all happen to be in one of the rare occurrences within the city. Some of the major people actually are currently sitting within this bar because it is an Elysium and it's safe haven, where they feel they can talk a little more, well, somewhat freely. The bar is called Sanctuary. It's located within the center of the city, close to all the major attractions and everything else. That way, it's accessible by everybody. Being a typical bar, it is open to all, any and all. I mean, even shifters and mages and other World of Darkness are welcome. But there will be humans in here as well. It's just a standard mix. So we will start with whoever wants to pipe in first.
Go ahead.
And to see if quiet. Okay, nobody wants to talk. Go ahead, Bo. We'll get you in there.
Okay. Sliding into the door, there is a very well-dressed man in what would be considered more traditional Chinese clothing. He's leaning on a cane of hard black wood that is affixed to the top of which there is a golden pommel head leering Asian dragon. He will very calmly and very gracefully dodge around the average punters in the bar before he makes his way up to the serving area, where he will sit and he will order. He will order a soft drink. Interestingly enough, he won't order alcohol before he slides a 20 across the bar and just calmly says, "Keep the change," waiting just to see what will happen.
Okay. Well, the bartender, takes the 20. He looks at it, kind of looks at you, and goes, "Oh, okay." He's obviously going to make sure you're taken care of because you just gave a 20 for like a $2 soda. So.
The only interesting features about this gentleman, other than the fact he is Asian, is he has, as I say, the gold-headed cane. He has a large gold coin, also one of the old traditional Chinese yuan, affixed around his neck by another golden chain, and he will just sit there sipping his soda and kind of watch comings and goings.
From what you can tell, I'll get you in a second. Yeah, give me a second. From what you can tell, it's like every other bar you've been to. I mean, it's a little slightly. I mean, like I said, it's more middle class, so it's a little slightly upper scale than some of the dives and places. But I mean, you get all kinds of people in here. You could see a group of what look like, punk rockers, stuff like that. And over to the side, you can see some businessmen. I mean, it's truly like a melting pot of, all facets of society in here. You do know that the guards at the door, I mean, they haven't stopped anybody. They just, take, take people in. But they did look heavily armed. You do see, as you look around, there are numerous security guards. Some in plain clothes that are a little more obvious because they don't know subtlety. But there are others that you happen to just, perception alertness, to see if you catch some of this. Some of the others are obvious.
Hang on just a moment. If one of you could roll for this just for me, and I will get on, so I can use a roller in a second. Perception alertness or perception awareness?
Awareness. Yeah, I forgot you're a mage. You have both.
And I will pop a willpower because I can.
How many dice? Sorry, you
5.
5? Okay. And a willpower just because you can. Well, you really didn't need it, but see, this is why people don't like me rolling for. You got 2 successes with the willpower, so you do notice a couple of the people who look like just average, everyday Joes, sitting at the, sitting around the bar area. Yeah, they seem to be a little more than average. by the fact that you just happen to catch the glimpse of one of them happen to move just in the right position and their coat slightly opened. You do see the butt of a weapon. Not a big surprise. He's probably a security guard with the way he's keeping an eye out, or maybe he's just a very, paranoid person. Not sure. This is Minneapolis. All kinds of bad shit happens, so anything's possible. So that's basically all you're going to see for right now. You do see you do see a very large Scandinavian man. Strapped to his back is what looks like a two-handed war axe. He doesn't seem bothered that people see it, and the entourage he has with him is very unique. There's a gentleman standing next to him having a conversation who's in a business suit, and Sven, which is who he is, he's dressed in it looks like old school leather armor. It looks like he never caught up with the times. Like whenever he was, wherever he came from, he stayed in that setting because he's still got the old leather armor type look and the big furry, shoulder cloak. So yeah, he definitely doesn't really kind of fit in with modern day society, but you could see he just doesn't give a shit. He walks through, you see him glare at somebody, a Native American looking gentleman who's wearing a top hat and just smiling, talking to a couple of his associates, and he just kind of Sven glares at this guy. And, the other gentleman, James Crow, just kind of smiles at him, gives him kind of like a, haha, fuck you look.
Good luck.
Good luck.
But Sven just goes to a table and sits down, and, they begin ordering drinks. Beauregard, as usual, you heard this was going to be a hotbed of activity today. You especially know with the rumors of hunters around, not just for vampires, but there's a rumor of a Garou hunter within the city. With your contacts, you were told this specific Garou hunter is a kindred.
All right, well, Bo would show up at the sanctuary. He is probably one of the most human-looking vampires in the city. He has blush of health. He also has just in general, he looks very human. Anybody using Aura Sense on him would read him as human as well. I put a picture of what he looks like on the Facebook page. He's dressed in a, not a rich man's suit, but he's obviously not a poor man. He walks in, orders something from the bartender, pays him, and heads towards the direction of where Sven, the big guy that, could not be looking more like one of the vampires than anybody else in this bar. And I would stop about.
Well, Sven. You've seen James. I mean, you've already been established in the city, so you know these people. You do see over in the corner a very odd twist because you happen to run across them only once, but you actually see the leader of the Anarchs, which is the well-known Billy Graham.
And people in the Camarilla would know that Beauregard finds it absolutely hilarious that there is leader of the Anarchs.
Well,
off leadership.
Closest that comes to leadership in the
He would actually offer a nod of the head to the Anarch head of state.
You see him. He was having a conversation. Briefly looks over. He seems kind of off today, which is not quite unusual. From the rumors you're hearing, they believe he's a Malkavian, which makes so much sense for him.
That would explain why there's somebody why he's claiming to be the leader of the Anarch.
Yeah, it explains so much in so many ways.
Sorry, just a quick note. I have just basically my computer doesn't have a headset. I'm getting one probably tomorrow, or the day after, so I've logged in on it just so I have the ability to roll dice. So that's why there are technically two of me.
Okay, that's fine. Whichever works. All right.
Even though Bo has status and he is a harpy, he does not come within of either prince until allowed to.
Okay. Yeah, you do see James. He's sitting off talking with his people. You could see off at a table in the corner. You could see Sven, and Sven seems to be eyeing up, James right now. As you've already known, there's plenty of tension within the city. I mean, especially between these two groups in particular. Between Sven and James, there's hardcore contention. Sven is claiming he's a prince.
Do they both recognize my status as a harpy?
Yes.
That's really all.
As odd as it is, they actually do recognize that. But you have a feeling it's probably more for the fact of, the more they support the others, the more people will flock to them, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's really weird because anybody actually really paying attention to the social side of things would to them it'd be almost like, how the hell is he exactly perfectly measuring out a distance from these gentlemen without being even a millimeter off? Somehow, in the years he's been around, he's been able to precisely gauge a 10-pace distance to stay away from people of higher status than him, perfectly to the millimeter. And his first stop would be with Prince Sven, because, well, they're kind of sort of sort of.
In a strange twist, a rather nicely dressed looking gentleman comes in. He really doesn't seem to fit in for what you're for if you want to look in the pictures to figure out who it is. It's Zechariah. Will be the guy. Let me find this picture. One second.
Sorry, Will, just a quick point. The role is on my other screen, which can be seen if you want to just click there. My character's just going to activate his mage's life sight, just so we can see who in the room is living and who is dead.
Okay.
Because it seems like a pertinent thing to do.
Might be a good idea. The big Scandinavian guy is dead. Most of the people around him are dead. The young-looking Native American is dead. As are some of his associates.
Beauregard, if I read it correctly, Beauregard would probably be confusing momentarily, but probably the life sight would cut through his deceptive aura and read him as dead.
All right, forgive me.
It would probably make you take a second before you actually caught it, but.
Okay, you're gonna have to forgive me for a second. I know it's gonna show a lot of pictures. That's the guy you see walking.
Because their full-out power versus slight 1-point merit, you're probably 2-point merit, you're probably going to eventually overpower it.
My one question is the guy who just walked in dead? Because this seems to be a running. Yay, dead! Everybody's dead.
You do. I will say you do see a lot of humans in here. Well, since it's just a life science detector, you don't want to be able to tell their lives. So yeah, there's a lot of living people.
Well, I mean, in theory, I could also tell if anyone's dying of cancer. I just don't fucking care if anyone in this room is dying of cancer.
Yeah, no. If there is, you don't notice. But other than that, you see that new gentleman kind of walking in. He just kind of looks around, just kind of smugly smiles as he looks between Sven, James, and crazy Billy Graham over there. He walks over to the bar. You hear him quite nonchalantly order a blood wine. The bartender just kind of looks at him, shakes his head, but gets as he pours the gentleman a drink. Guy
Oh,
throws down 100, and he just kind of leans against the bar, and kind of turns and watches the goings on of everybody else. Bo, you see Jade. Yeah, Jade is Sven's Harvey. You see Jade approach you. Hey, Bo, what you doing here?
just thought I'd do my usual check-in, and there's been some rumors kicking around that.
Yeah, that's why the impromptu meeting of all the heads is kind of here. As
Yeah,
much as they bitch and argue amongst themselves, ironically, they do agree on one aspect, and that is this is a internal matter. We don't need external forces being involved.
I I figured, with my standing amongst us, I should be here for at least some of the discussion. Including
Well,
some members of my family being in the city as well.
yeah, well, it's gonna get a little. It's gonna be a little while because it always takes Sven there some time to, lack of a better term, swallow his pride long enough to deal with Mr. Crow over there. Uh, Getting these two in a room together is like cats and dogs. Jesus Christ.
I'm less blown away by that than and he's kind of pointing over at Graham.
Yeah. It. Yeah. There's just no explanation for that. Just we did finally confirm there is he is of the broken mirror group. She kind of looked around as she said that.
Yes, I've been figuring that for a little while, seeing he claims to be, the speaker of, yeah.
Yeah, she's just laughing at you say that. She's like, yeah.
You know the joke that I brought up the last
Oh,
meeting.
yes, quite. But ironically, as much as it is funny, I do have to say he is managing to keep him in some kind of focused line, even though it is his version of focus. You know how they are.
So what do we know about these individuals?
Originally, it was just a small group of. The original report came in was a small group of poachers out on one of the local reserves. She says she just kind of looks around. She does it with the whole quotation mark thing, because she's not going to come out and say what it was. They were handled, but they believe there are ties to other things. Nothing has been confirmed yet from the rumors I hear, which are few and far between because they're not exactly on speaking terms with us right now. Apparently, issues have developed.
Yeah.
New power source.
Oh.
New head didn't like one that didn't like the agreement, so we basically are starting from scratch. But I'm hearing from bits and pieces that they were taken care of. There is one that was alive last I heard, one of the poachers. He is currently being questioned as to what exactly happened. Shortly after that, a routine scan of the people coming in, flying into the city, revealed we have two new players in town, both of which have unique qualities that set them apart from most normal. Specifically, how to put this, are illegal hunters. Both have ties within our organizations, not just ours, but the ones on the reservation.
Oh.
Yeah. The one that's targeting the reservation is one of ours. The one, from what we heard, now we can't confirm it yet because nobody's gotten an actual eye on them yet. Once they came into the city, they seem to have disappeared and went into their separate quarters. The one that is supposedly after us is of the reservation persuasion. So we think an outside source brought them in to cause even more tension amongst the groups.
And we need to.
I'm going to assume that your character, Evan, is close enough to hear this. Since Bo just went and walked up to the bar, Jade's not very subtle about it.
At which point the Chinese man will kind of raise.
You're cutting out on this. Because all we heard was kind of raise, and that's all we heard. Evan?
Yes.
Okay. We only heard kind of raised, and then it just cut out, at least on my end. I don't know. Ian
Yeah, all I heard was up to raise.
Yeah, so we didn't hear anything after that. You have been cutting out a lot. I was hoping
Yeah, no, there's kind of a storm going on here at the moment, so it kind of comes and it goes. He will stand up, leaning on his cane, and he will offer a very Asian bow to the two of them, and he will simply say, "It is so good to see you again, Mr. Beauregard. However, the last time we met, I wasn't wearing this face."
Jade kind of looks at you confused.
She looks at the individual confused as well.
Confusion all around.
Called the excellent waiting service in the vineyard.
I recognize that. Indicates to the pendant thing. I recognize that.
You're very perceptive.
From the winery, right?
I assume that was Yeah, Storm is wreaking havoc with you, even, because we're only catching bits and pieces. And apparently, we're not going to catch anything else. Well, part one of him left.
That's one down.
Now he's back.
And he's beside himself again.
I'm beside myself. Yeah.
That's a little better.
Okay. What he will say.
Yeah. Go ahead. Evan, go ahead. If you're talking, we're not hearing anything, just so you know.
I do beg your pardon for this. I'm trying to fix the IT issue, but
It's okay.
he will say, you are very perceptive, Mr. Beauregard. Yes, you have seen this little trinket of mine before.
I do not recall the name of the wearer.
Friend of yours, Bo?
He was at the winery.
I've heard mixed reviews about the place. Haven't gone to check it out yet.
The winery is recognized by all as a safe haven.
Should not.
I have something for sale, it would seem, and am looking for an interested buyer who is interested in information.
Jade looks over.
Okay. What
Shall we
information is
discuss
available?
prices before I speak? I think that might be best. You think that there are only 2 hunters, whereas as a matter of fact, there are 4.
That's worth it.
Interesting.
What would this information be worth to you?
What do you want? Jade looks directly at you. She's in a biker jacket, a black leather jacket. She's got a picture of a wolf head kind of howling at the moon on her t-shirt. She's wearing blue jeans and combat boots. You do see with her jacket, the way she kind of occasionally moves, you see the butt of two weapons on either side of her in shoulder holsters. Um, she is one of the ones that came in with the big Scandinavian guy, and was pretty much sitting over there until she saw a Beauregard, and she walked over.
Strictly OC question for the GM. I'm not sure how money works in this game because he will just ask for monetary gain.
Okay.
They take out bills of various denominations that are roughly this long and this tall. They hand it to you.
I mean, the money.
I'm sorry, I had to be.
I mean, basically, whatever price they agree on, we'll just, you just have to mark it down on the sheet. Got X extra amount of money. Just so you can keep track. I mean, it won't really play a big part. I mean, obviously, we're going to be going through money. Yeah, all good. Basically, with the money situation, we're not going to be focusing on that unless you don't have the resources to back it up. If you have the resources to back it up, we kind of just glaze over it because it's not really that big a deal. I haven't seen your character sheet, so I don't know if you have resources more than 2. I'm not going to give a shit. Yeah, they're going to give you some money. Big deal.
He will simply say, in that case, I would like to speak privately with the individual who may speak and represent the interests of your kind in this city.
That's a hard bargain because right now there would be many interested parties in this information.
Beauregard starts counting them off on his fingers.
Then I will simply speak.
Yeah, we start running out of fingers and toes really quick in here.
Then I will simply speak to all interested parties privately. I assure you this information is worth their time.
She kind of says, well, our leaders are probably, well, they'll want the information, but they're going to want us to attain it. I will at least go get the other, one of the, I don't know how you would probably put it, but one of the controllers of the monetary situation over here from one of the sides, and I don't even care about the anarchs.
As I have said, I'm interested in monetary gain, but there is another thing I desire. Very simple. Simply a writ of friendship. From all sides. He says with a smile.
Yeah, even Jade's kind of looking at that curiously.
I wish to be known that I am a friend to all and an enemy of none. Simply
he kind of like hides his face and looks over at Jade and mouths.
I have incredible hearing, Mr. Beauregard. That is rather rude.
Sorry. I'm
okay. So we get it.
I apologize.
You want to be a friend to all, and basically you don't want to step on anyone's toes.
After all, when all is said and done, if many chickens go after the same worm, they will eventually tear each other to death until only the dominant one remains. I merely wish to be friends with all of the chickens before they are let into the pen.
Fair enough. Well, okay. I'll have to speak with my supervisor about that, and I'm sure the other individual will have to speak to his supervisor, but we could probably come to some kind of... they're iffy about written agreements, but their words do carry heavy weight in the city.
I am led to understand that the exchange of favors is quite prevalent in your society.
Correct.
Perhaps there is an individual who keeps account of these favors.
She just looks
at an individual.
There are quite a few. I'm one of them. He's one of them. That
Then I would
woodsy-looking gentleman
consider.
sitting with the Native American is one of them. And they haven't
Then I would simply consider a promise made in the presence of my friend Mr. Beauregard here to be as valid as any written covenant.
it would be.
Reaches
Any
into a pocket, pulls out a small notebook.
any agreement made will be upheld unless one or both parties violate the terms of the agreement. There are
Of
rules
course.
we do. There are rules we do follow. We are, even at times, if a bit uncivilized, we do have some civilization within us, and I can ensure that at least my superior will agree to the terms. I cannot speak for the others. Though you notice she waves Harvey over, who's the harpy for the venture. Harvey gets up. You could see him. If he could sigh, it would be a sigh, but he's a vampire. He doesn't, so he just gives that. He gives the motion to make it look like it because there are humans around. And he walks over. Yes, Jade. What can I do for you? The gentleman here has a proposition for us that, even though we have our differences, I feel is of mutual benefit to all of us, seeing as how the newcomers to the city are not as few as we imagine. He looks over at you, Evan.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk. Would you rather go somewhere a little more private so we can do a little more open discussion?
I think that would probably be for the best.
And he waves one of the guards over. You see him walk up. Yes, Harvey. Do you have a private conference room or private room off to the side we can use for now? Yes, of course. It was set up a while ago by your supervisor. Very well. You guys all walk. Harvey looks at you. You're welcome to come with us, Bo. As you know, we have no qualms with you.
Bows his head. Remains quiet and walks with them.
You guys all go to a separate room. It's just a little side room. It looks like a small conference room.
Sorry, just a quick second. That was just my dice roll, if you wish to view it, for my character who can now soak ag damage if he needs to, because I don't know why, but walking into a back room with vampires is probably not big nor clever.
And not usually a good sign, but you're offering information that they might find worthy.
Hold on, wait. You activated a power.
That's the only reason.
I activated a magic power, yes. I don't think you have any sensory ability that lets you do the magic sense thing.
As far as I know, we can tell when a power has been activated with a successful perception alertness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can at least notice that something is off and it's a little weird.
Not that he can identify what. It's just,
Yeah, he's got
hairs
enough
on the back of his head.
Yeah, which is odd for vampires, but yeah, that's basically the only thing they get that says something is active. If the other two notice, they don't show it.
He doesn't show it either. He just
they figure they definitely know you at least are living and breathing, so they figure if you're smart enough, you have some kind of unique trait that makes you be a little more cautious, considering they know who you're walking into the room with. You're walking into a room with 3 vampires.
Yep. And I make a tasty treat.
Yeah.
Tasty treat.
They don't know what you are, but they know that, and with that, they actually start to get a clue, but they don't know enough to know that, they couldn't pinpoint what, tradition you're from, or even the fact that you're a mage. They just figure you might have some kind of power. I mean, there are all kinds of sorcerers.
Well, no, I mean, I'm willing to say my character's been in the city for years. Everyone knows who Zon is. He's open about being a mage. He doesn't care.
Okay. So yeah, then they would already know you're a mage. So they figure you probably activated something just to give yourself a little security, which they don't care. I mean, they had no intention of attacking you at all. Well, at least these two didn't. I can't speak for Bo, but these two don't.
It's just something that Beauregard would definitely have noticed. He's a little. He watches his back a lot because he's not a standard Camarilla clan.
No, he's not.
That is so. We shall go to the to the room. The room.
Yeah. Harvey, actually, the more business-like of everybody, offers everybody a seat. Well, you got us in here. You said you have information. We're listening.
I do.
Depending on the information, depends on what kind of reward, I should say, would be offered. We are aware there are 2 hunters within the city. The most we know is that one hunter is, well, nothing to confirm, but the most we believe, I should say, is that one hunter is a shifter and the other is one of us.
You have to understand that the information I give you, I am not giving to you because I want harm to fall on this individual. I think of him more so as a lost child who is merely fighting against the times because he believes that is what he must do. However, your math is slightly wrong. There are not 2 hunters in this city. There are in fact 4.
Okay. Well, those are 200. Those are the 2 we are aware of. If there are 2 others, yes, it would be good for us to know. We can tell you for a fact, unless they make an open attack against us, we usually do not go out of our way. If they have made no open threats to any of our kind, nor have attacked any of our kind, we can put them on a, lack of a better term, a no-fly list. Just means they're off, they are unable to be touched by any kindred. But there has to be extenuating circumstances for us to do that.
And misguided brothers, who is in the city under the express geos, it would seem, of killing your kind. He will give a description of Nathaniel, who is, I do believe, Joey's Euthanatos.
Okay.
And Bart takes out a notebook and starts taking notes.
Even more troubling is the him to the Twin Cities with a master, someone of more prodigious power than himself. You have to understand, even the young of our kind are incredibly dangerous entities. However, an older one could pose much more interesting challenges.
Well,
I've
as
only
I said,
seen...
as I've said, if they make no direct attacks on us, they can hate us all they want. We understand we're not liked. I mean, if humans...
yes, however, these individuals...
Go ahead.
Individual has openly said he has come to the city for the express purpose of ending entities like yours' existence.
Well, I am aware that there is a meeting in place with the princes, and anyone in power on our side, and those who have standing within your ranks, to ensure that there is some kind of ceasefire, I believe is what they're looking for. So that would prevent any attacks on you guys, and we would hope that
Indeed.
those
However,
on your side that have the power would enforce the agreement on their side.
Indeed, I'm aware of this. I'm aware that something like this may have been, shall we say, necessary. So you may consider this a goodwill gesture on behalf of us prior to the negotiation.
They nod. That's fine.
However, until then, we cannot guarantee. You must consider these entities to be, shall we say, rogue operatives who, if we are indeed to come to the peace table, their actions do not countenance the actions of the agreed upon consensus.
We understand that. We would not hold the entire consensus responsible for the actions of a few misguided individuals.
You
We
must
usually
realize that there will be
only.
questions, though.
Yes, there will be questions, but all of that can be worked out with the higher ups, or even us three as harpies. We would be handling those more matters in that case. Um, as I said, usually we do not. Basically, I mean, even though it's never officially been done officially, once we are aware of your group's unique qualities, we tend to just kind of do a live and let live policy. We cannot speak, and I will reiterate this so that way you understand fully. We do not speak for another branch of our kind. We classify as the Sabbat. They have no such rules and make no such agreements. They will attack anyone and everyone.
Ah, so they are to be considered the rogue elements of your organization.
Oh yes.
And that's a botch. Sorry, whenever you were rolling, that's a botch.
I know.
So
um,
so unfortunately, we cannot speak for them, nor would we ever, because they are rivals to us, even within our own little circle. Jade here follows someone else, I follow someone, and our others just follow whoever.
and whom
in
do
our
you follow, Mr. Beauregard?
I'm one of the harpies of the camera.
he is
Interesting.
he has gained his reputation and earned a place within the Camarilla. He has agreed to follow the rules of the Camarilla, which are enforced throughout the city, even though we have our differences and have our different viewpoints. We all agree that the rules need to be followed in order to secure safety for at least our kind, but it helps for the others as well. Because how long do you think it will be before, again, the vampires are found out and they start digging, and then the right people start pointing in other directions, as in mages, for example? Harvey just kind of looks at uh, Zahn, or sorry,
My name is
your
Zon.
character Evan. Zahn, okay, that's what I thought. Looks at Zahn, and then, or worst case scenario, they find out about shifters. We already know how well that can go. Basically, the Camarilla organization tries to maintain what we call the masquerade. It keeps our numbers hidden, and there are rules we follow. The spot themselves, however, maintain no such qualms. Most of the gang activity or violence within most cities is usually caused by Sabat themselves. So you can imagine what kind of forces we are dealing with. These are our rivals. These are the bad guys amongst bad guys.
Zon will shrug, and he will simply say, I have never considered your kind to be bad or good. I have considered you to be like all things, balanced in your own way.
And we try and keep it that way, but the Sabat, as I keep saying, do not have such qualms. They are not above exposing what they are to normal society in order to cause turmoil. We have a hard time when Sabat are in the city of keeping things quiet. There's only so much we can cover up before it becomes problematic. So we allow some things to get away, and we manipulate the humans when we need to better keep our numbers hidden. I know a lot of people don't like it because of our manipulation, but it is required for survival. I can imagine that you mages probably do something similar in your own rights.
Oh, yes. Well, that's why we don't exactly appear on television juggling fireballs, now do we?
Very true.
I'm just visualizing that now.
That would be a different mage's department. I am unfortunately incapable of the summoning of fireballs.
That's always good to know for us, at least.
However, he will calmly sit back in his chair and kind of pent his fingers. I have given you the information. However, rather than a fiscal price, I would ask information in payment. Does that seem fair?
Fair enough. What are you looking for?
Well, Mr. Beauregard is unfortunately one to talk very loudly at public bars, he says as he arches an eyebrow.
Sometimes
So,
it happens.
I am now made aware that there are at least two other entities in this city that are currently, shall we say, causing issue.
Referring to?
These two other hunters, I believe he said, I believe it was the young lady, he says, looking at the biker chick, who said, and I do quote, that one of them you believe is active on the reservation and the other one is more active here in the city.
That is the rumors. Again, nothing has been confirmed on any side. I mean, I think even, as I said, as much as Jade and I will argue, I think we can agree that from the most we've been able to gather through our various contacts and various sources is the fact that those are the ways they tend to go towards. We are currently trying to research where they come from to better determine their exact, lack of a better term, mission for being here. We do believe they were called in by an alternate source in order to stir up tension between the shifters and the kindred society. Or it could just be some random faction that just doesn't like anybody and just sends people out. But
well, I've always been led to understand that your relations with the yes, you call them shifters, but your relations with them have always been strained due to, in my side of the world, we would call them Heng Nyokai, or the Emerald Courts, but your relations with them have always been strained.
Yes. In a few cities there have been agreements made, and for a while here, until new leadership showed up, there was an agreement between my superior and the guru. It was basically a live and let live kind of policy. We try not to have too much crossover. Us as harpies are basically in charge of making sure that the kindred don't get out of line. And if they do, they're brought, actions are taken to fix that. With the new leadership, we have not made any official agreement yet, but we have left it at a live and let live. They keep to their end, we keep to ours. They have a few stragglers here and there in the city, but they don't cause problems, so we don't cause problems for them.
As long as everyone is happy.
Well, it's a tense peacefulness right now. I mean, there's still the strain. We are aware that the guru that the shifter nation itself doesn't exactly like it. SCS is a bane on existence, or whatever term they want to use. So there's a bunch of different ways that see us.
Well, he will kind of lean back in his chair and he will simply say, I am led to understand that you are very connected I'm led to understand that due to your ability to masquerade and your, shall we say, play upon life, that many of you find, and your obvious age, that many of you find yourself very well connected in the business world. Would that be reasonably correct?
Oh yes, quite well.
The information I am seeking is in relation to a power plant on the outer edges of the city. I would wish to know, he'll give you the location. OC, this is a plot line I was dumped in last night, so I just said
gotcha, yeah. I was already kind of half-assed noticed about it earlier today, so I don't really know what's going on with that. So the most they'll say is we'll have to look into it.
So basically what he will say is, I want as much information on this power plant, its owners, and its operators.
Okay. Well, for the rest of that information, it's a give and take relationship we have so far right now. You've given us information, I've given you some information. If you don't deem that's enough, then we'll need a little bit more. but nothing in this world is free. Let's be honest about this. Um, and when it comes to information, a free flow of exchange will definitely keep your status as friend to all in good standing.
There's like hilarious reverb from, I think it's Ian, is it, maybe? No, he's muted.
Sorry?
There was like really bad reverb, so I was hearing.
Yeah. It may happen. I think Ian has his speakers.
So. Okay.
If you need me to repeat it, I can.
No, I got the gist. Zon will smile and he will simply say, "Of course. I'm happy to make sure that all are kept in the flow of the river of truth. So, in exchange for the information that I have requested on this, I will give you information. It would appear as though this power plant is a secondary generator, a hydroelectric generator to be exact, that is not on any of its normal plans and blueprints. It is rather secret, in fact. I merely wish to find out why."
Interesting. Well, that definitely will has piqued our curiosity. I know by the look from the other two at the table here, I could definitely tell they gotten an interest as well. But I was busy taking notes.
So much role play. Anyway.
But yeah, so with that being brought up, and it seems to have a secondary power source, it doesn't make sense. Yeah,
not a secondary power generator, not distributing any of the power that is generated there. It's being stored.
Okay, that does pose a much bigger question. What is it being stored for? So yeah, we are definitely going to look into it. Any information we obtain, we could give to you. Since you gave us this information, I will tell you, at least myself personally, as soon as I have some information that is valid and one that we will confirm before we give you, we are very big on making sure that the information passed is correct and reliable rather than hearsay and conjecture.
It is quite accurate. I've seen the reports and the population statistics myself.
Well, then we will definitely look into it, as if they are a business, even the power plant, there has to be records somewhere that we can find.
Also, I would consider it a personal matter if my discussions with you here this evening were kept confidential.
Very well.
You can tell your superiors, of course, however, for the river to continue to flow, oftentimes truth must be damned by misconception.
No, I got the gist of that, even though it's broken up a bit of it, but I got the gist. Hey, nods.
Poetry was bull poetry.
Harvey kind of looks over to you, Bo.
Yes.
So what do you say? We keep what information we have to only those in the need to know?
I think the anarchs will need to know.
The fake exasperated side comes from Harvey. Jay goes, it's only fair, even though we do have our differences of opinion, they probably should be informed of this, because it may very well impact all of us as a whole, not just factions, not just particular sides of the coin, so to speak. If it is being brought up by our mage friend here, you can imagine it probably has consequences towards the mages. Which means...
Not to mention the fact that if we don't tell them, it could cause them to go to war with us here.
That's true. We have enough issues going on.
This concept of vampire dishonesty.
Yeah, unfortunately, you have come into a most unusual situation. Most cities Zon are usually more firmly controlled by one aspect or the other. Um, I'm not going to get into the politics here because we all have our different points of view. Um, Jade and I have had rather lengthy debates about that. But we'll keep it at right now. In order to attempt to facilitate good relations and at least some kind of peace, at least within the Camarilla side, we should make all of our groups aware of it. I do agree with Bo on that. We should keep them informed because the anarchs can tend to be violent and push.
Not to mention if
go ahead.
there's also the added imbalance of the fact of who's in command over there.
Yeah, well, I would take it directly to their self-proclaimed leader, if nothing else, because at least he seems to have some kind of. Well, maybe not him, because.
But I mean, if
But these entities called.
keep it away from an anarch Malkavian, who
Yeah,
knows
true.
what the.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you give me? But these entities are called anarchs.
Yes, they are called the anarchs. It's more of just a title rather than anything else. They do sometimes have some anarchistic terror.
Does that
ways.
not mean as an anarch having a leader would be completely anathema?
Hence the whole joke we have going on about the self-proclaimed leader of the anarchs. If you were to understand the various clans within Kindred Society, you would understand why this particular leader, and Harvey uses the quotation marks, is rather hilarious because his clan is known for their, lack of a better term, their dementations, their craziness. They are not in full control of all their faculties.
Utterly tragic.
The thing that I find the most funny is, well, besides the fact that it's a Malkavian in power, it's somebody in power of anarchs. By definition.
Yeah, like Zahn said, it's a contradiction in terms, pretty much. But he has kept them somewhat. Again, I use the term focused, but I can't really call it focused because, well, to a Malkavian, focus is, oh, look, shiny. Oh, look, another shiny. And, they're off on their own little thing. But he has kept them at least under wraps, so to speak. They're not acting mean. I've heard that there's some dissension amongst that group, but it's expected with him. However,
No.
Yeah,
Anarchy?
but
Anarchs? No.
yeah, I know it's crazy, isn't it? But they do fear him, so they're at least smart enough not to push their limits with him. So that's probably the one strong suit about him right now. Is they're not sure how crazy he is or what he's capable of, so they'll listen to him for now. Well, Zon, we definitely do appreciate the information, and I can assure you, as soon as we find out more about this power plant and its unique secondary source of power that doesn't seem to be going anywhere, bless you, that we will definitely pass along the information. Whether you choose to pass it on to your superiors is your choice.
Once again, it would seem as though there is a contradiction in terms. In this city, I do not possess any superiors.
Well, then, if you wish to pass it on to others of your persuasion, that is your choice.
Indeed. Zahn will stand up very gracefully, and he will replace the chair. He'll push it into the table, because that's the mannerly thing to do. At which point he will offer the kindred in the room a deep, once again, Asian-style bow. And he will say, May the blessings of the dragon that sung the world into creation walk with you.
And you as well. Harvey doesn't really know how to respond to that.
Bo would just nod his head.
Yeah, Jade just kind of, nods her head.
Just you do constitute, I'll pop a willpower as well for dramatic effect. Just you do constitute. Oh well, you're not sleepers. For the purpose.
Yeah, I think it's weird. I think it's a weird setup with the mage. I think they actually, they don't classify as sleepers. They're kind of an in between, which is
okay. As he walks to the door, he will. You will see his body physically change until he is basically the waiter who Beauregard met the previous night, standing in Zahn's clothing, and he will bow to Beauregard again and simply say, "I like this face. It is one of the better faces. Would you not agree?"
Sure.
And without saying another word, he will walk to the room.
Okay. Yeah, they'll let him go. I mean, they got the information they needed.
And Beauregard goes over, closes the door, and watches for a few minutes until he is far enough away, then closes the door, turns to the others, and goes, "I don't trust him."
Yeah, from what we know of their society, they usually have someone, I mean, whether or not superior, I mean, maybe that was just a bad choice of words, maybe that's just what he was playing on, but they usually have someone that is higher than them that kind of keeps them in line. From what we know, admittingly, we don't know a lot. I'm not a big mage expert with us. We do agree we probably should tell. God, I almost don't want to have that conversation with him because he's hard to pin down. What the hell? I'll do it. I'll save you guys the headache. James is still willing to discuss terms. He looks over at Jade. He has altered some of the things in order to make a more compromising position. Well, you already know how Sven is. He did have a question. What's with the new gangrel? We heard reports that there were others in town. We assumed they were yours. No, they don't. Sven has not called in any sources. Or at least no one has responded yet. Well, then I guess they're just a random group passing through. Let's just hope they're here for other things. Well, okay. We just didn't know if you brought them in as allies or whatnot. You should know us better than that. Yeah. Alright, guys. Well, anytime, Bo, if you wish to speak with James, he's available right now. I told him I'd merely come over and do whatever situation was here. But he's willing to speak with you. Jake goes, I'll have to.
I'm just worried about this situation.
Yeah.
I'm worried about it.
I'd say we probably should have some people start keeping an eye on that particular one because he definitely, I mean, the information he gave was pretty freely, and all he got in return was a word, which we'll keep because if the information is true, then we may need to keep a closer eye on the mages than we have been. Usually they don't cause us problems, but if they have hunters within their mix, could have issues. Last thing we need is that kind of supernatural war going on in the city. We have enough problems with the spot and their little issues.
My look on this is pretty simple. When it comes to the mages, we have the Tremere. We at least have something on par, or at least somewhere in the vicinity of on par to help us deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is the fact that we don't necessarily have things to deal with. Shape-shifting. Motherfucking hunters.
Yeah, I have found that kind of ironic. If that's the case, I mean, our information could be off. Usually it isn't, so. Usually it's not that off, so I can imagine that what we got is detailed information, which means we have a shifting fucking hunter that is targeting us. He could be a very big problem. I mean, but we don't know if the local cairn or one of the local septs brought him in as a kind of equalizer, because if they got the same report we did, or at least got some kind of information that the hunter going after them is a kindred, they may think it's us trying to do a direct attack on them, an indirect attack on them.
They've brought in one of their if a mage has been sent in as a hunter and a shifter has been brought in as a hunter, should we be questioning new members to the city? Because that would mean that.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the things we are going to begin doing, because the newer people to the city, I mean, it has gotten a little bit more crowded lately, but the newer people to the city are definitely seem to have some baggage and some hidden agendas that I'm not too sure.
You know what?
Hmm.
Bo pulls out a chair and has a seat. Let's get this over with now.
Okay.
Bring in who you need to bring in to ask me questions.
Harvey looks over at Jade. Ladies first. Very well. Jade walks out. Short time later, she comes in with Sven, who just kind of glares at Harvey. Harvey's just paying him no need. Sven, we have a lot of new people coming into the city, as you've been made well aware of. Many of them are questionable. We've just gotten a report that 2 of the new people within the city are mages, but they're also specifically vampire hunters or kindred hunters. Bo, to ensure that he is loyal to the cause, even though we've had no problems or no reason to doubt it, he's willing to, how to put it in most, fuck it, withstand in the interrogation that is required to prove his loyalty, at least to the Camarilla. I will not say we're going to prove whether he's loyal to Usman or to James or to anybody else. I'd rather just find out Camarilla's sake, because this is a matter of the Camarilla, not of the various princes. Sven nods. Well, Bo, I can tell you, mind you, it's a heavy Scandinavian accent. I cannot do it. I don't want to butcher a language. So. Bo, as Jade has said, you have given us no reason to doubt your loyalty. You have proven time and again, even with the circumstance that you think we are not aware of involving the Giovanni. He just looks at you.
I would actually almost insist, because if anybody was to see you not question me, or at least not hear of you questioning me, would be questioning why. I'd prefer them to know.
Well, with Harvey here, did you want to get one of the Anarch? They don't have Harveys, so just one of the Anarch guys in here to watch, if that'd make you feel better. Harvey looks over. Probably a good idea, just so we keep our decent relation, tenseful relation, a little less tense. Jade walks out, comes back in. Let's see. She's not bringing Billy Graham in because she's an idiot.
We do not need more. Raise your hand and talk about the. I'm thinking the right guy, right?
Huh?
Billy Graham's right.
Yeah, he's the infamous TV evangelist. Yeah.
Raise your hand and talk to the Lord.
Yeah.
Although I'll admit, Billy Graham sounds like a wrestler's name.
She brings in a guy, Daryl Sullivan, in case you're curious. Let me find his picture real quick. Who is basically like the poster child for the Anarch movement before Billy Graham took over and went crazy. But, you know,
Bo gets up, takes off his suit jacket, takes off the dress shirt, hangs it on a hook, and then goes back to his chair. He knows that sometimes these get messy.
This guy. This is Daryl. He is like I said, the poster child.
Is his name Daryl Adams?
No, actually, I don't think that's his name. No, Sullivan. But yeah, he is the poster child for the Anarchs and was for the longest while before Billy Graham kind of took over, but at least they know where this guy lies because they know his clan. He comes in. What the fuck do you people want? We figured it'd be nice there, Daryl, if we gave you a chance to sit in. We know you've heard reports. We're willing to share information in order to keep things at a status quo. Right now, we have hunters. We actually have more than the 2 we believe came into the city. There are 4 that we have got notification on, 2 of which are mages. We do not know if they are making any plans, but once we begin speaking with the mage leaders, we can figure that out. Bo here, being one of the more recent additions to the city, has felt it necessary that everybody witness the fact that we are trying to find who actually is loyal to the Camarilla side, who's a Sabbat, or who's just in it for themselves. Not that that has any issue, as long as you're not causing problems. But we felt it only fair that
Making sure I'm not one of these hunters.
Daryl looks at you. Well, are you?
No.
I mean, he looks around at the table. Let's be honest. Even if he was, he could sit here and lie to our face and tell us he isn't, and we have to believe it. Harvey goes, not necessarily. Oh yeah, your tricks. Okay, well, if you really want, fine. I think it's Harvey will activate his prospects, which is going to confuse him at first, I know.
It's like, wait a second, are you even a vampire?
Perception, empathy, difficulty 8. Alright, so I'm rolling it so it can be seen. Harvey's is...
And no, discipline's being used on me.
Oh, Jesus, look at that. He's got 1, 2, 3 successes. That is enough. And he can recognize color patterns, so he'll be able to tell if basically you're blind or trying to hide the truth. Daryl looks at him, and Daryl looks at Harvey. Harvey just kind of nods. Fine, I'll ask it again. Are you a hunter?
No.
Harvey nods. Then, like I said, unfortunately they could lie to us. I mean, this gentleman here could be, Bo here could be a very well a good liar. I mean, we've seen it before. People bypassing certain abilities with certain tricks in the trade that they can use. Do I think he's lying? No, because even from what I've heard within the city, from what Bo's done, he doesn't strike me as a hunter. It wouldn't make any sense. I mean, admittingly, yes, he could be trying to work his way closer to the inner sanctum to do an attack. But let's be honest. he's one man. I mean, he could be powerful and all that, but he's one fucking man. And although Harvey's giving a very confused look as he's staring at Bo, I can only imagine that, uh, to me, that, if he was, if we believe the Kindred Hunter is a shifter, well, I'm pretty sure even with that very confused look, we'd get some kind of sign that he's a shifter. I've heard no sign of it. Um, so honestly,
Come on, seriously. I just got one of the two princes in the same room as me with a little effort. If I was a hunter.
I mean that would be a prime target right there. Prime target right here. Big ass Spence. Hard to fucking miss. He's the giant Scandinavian dude sitting in the room, and I couldn't miss him if I was blindfolded at this point. But he's made no move or even any action to make me believe he's a hunter, because that would be a perfect target. Even if he never survived, killing Sven would be enough to get his name recognition within the hunter world. Think about it. Let's break it down this way. If he wanted to, boom. He could die here, but he would damn sure take out somebody with him.
I mean,
from what I've heard, he's made.
Prince.
He's talked
What's
to
one of the harpies? Harpy, Jade, you.
Yeah, I mean, really, we could break it down. I mean, so I don't see it. So I agree. Yeah, Bo's not an issue. I do have a feeling you're going to be questioning more. So yes, I will be in attendance. As for Billy running things, you know how we run. Not exactly. But
yes, Bo is laughing.
Yeah,
he's making no attempts at hiding that he's laughing when you say Graham and leader.
Yeah, I mean, come on, everybody is trying to stifle their laughter at the fact that the Malkavian is a leader of an anarch group.
Bo is not trying to hide it. He is outright laughing.
I mean, even I can't call myself a leader. I may be the spearhead for the movement, yes. I may not like your ideas or your ideas. I do see one thing. We do need to protect ourselves from the humans. That's, I'm not stupid. I may act a little crazy, and I may do some dumb shit. But you guys know enough to know that at least I'm doing it within balance. I mean, I have my limits. The other people might be a little crazier than me, but, well, in the case
I
of Billy,
have no qualms with the anarchs. I have no problems with the anarchs. Hell, when I was younger, I probably would have even considered joining you, but that was a long time ago. But anybody claiming to be a leader over an anarchy movement is just fucking hilarious.
Well,
it's just it's like flying in the face of everything you're about.
Yeah, and we just find it hilarious. I mean, to be quite honest, I'm a little afraid of him, mainly because, well, he's a Malkavian. Let's be honest. No one, I don't care who you are, not even Big Sven here, can officially say, with certainty that they do not get scared around the Malkavians, because no one knows what they're capable of. I mean, no one knows how crazy they are or how sane they are. I mean, for all we know, the whole Malkavians being crazy is just a fucking front to make everybody believe what they want them to believe. I mean, we've seen it before. There are plenty of clans that hide themselves very well and, are able to make people believe whatever the hell they want because, what the hell, why not? I mean, we see most Ventru as stuck-up assholes, but I've met a few Ventru, honestly, that are pretty cool. Gangrel, you guys are all known as
I've met many Ventru that are still stuck-up assholes.
Yeah, I mean, they're, we all have stereotypes of the clans that, we got the stereotypes for a reason. Obviously, I'm a Bruja, so, let's be honest. We already know I'm a baller to begin with. So that's just, it's the way the clan is. But I know some of my clanmates that are, probably nicer to be around than, no offense to you guys, but some of you in this room. You specifically.
And I've run into a couple of Bruja that couldn't throw a punch to save their lives.
Yeah, I mean, we're not all, ass kicking buffoons. I mean, there are a lot of intelligent, I mean, we wouldn't have survived so long if all we were ass kicking buffoons, because eventually, shit rolls downhill.
You'd be odd.
Yeah, live a life of violence, you tend to end violence. I mean, let's just break it down the way it is. But yes,
Well,
so
I'm around those. We live up in the stereotypes all the time.
So yeah, I mean, so yeah, I approve. Bo is fine. We have no issues. Uh, I do have to say, our politics aside, we do have to. I do think we do need a united front, at least against the Spot, if nothing else. I truly think the Sabbat are here just to continue this tension that we have sitting at this table right now. I mean, look at Sven here. He's done nothing but glare at this dumbass over here since he sat down. Well, I'm sure since he sat down. I just got in. I mean, if looks could kill, poor Harvey here would be, a pile of ash in a corner at this point. I mean, but this is what the Sabbat do. This is what they're known for. You guys think we're an issue? We're not an issue. We just like having a little more freedom than what you guys want to enforce. We don't like it, but we do.
Yeah, but like I've said, when it comes to the Sabbat and versus hunters, I know the Sabbat. I know what they're capable of. I prefer the devil that I know. Dude, what the fuck is coming at us now?
And I actually have to agree with Bo on that aspect. I mean, I would rather keep the enemy we know than keep, than the ones we don't. We don't know anything about the hunters. We can't even verify whether or not they're actually what they are. I mean, that's a problem right there. If we can't even verify whether they're human, shifter, mage, vampire, whatever. I mean, yes, we just got to report that there are 2 mage hunters. Okay. That helps us a little bit. At least we know something, But these other 2, we know nothing about. We are speculating, we are guessing, we are hoping the information our contacts gave us is correct. And let's be honest, I've always been one that if I don't see it firsthand, I find it hard to believe. We're getting information that says these guys are, a kindred and a shifter. I have yet to hear any activity from these 2 yet. Now, admittingly, they just got into the city, but you would think at least they'd want to start making a name almost as soon as possible.
Bo would look over at Sven.
They nod. Sven goes, it makes sense. If I were a hunter, that would be the first thing I'd do. Is maybe not take out the biggest guy you can find first, but I would definitely go for someone just to at least say, hey, I'm here. Let's get ready to party. Hunters aren't known for their subtlety most of the time.
No, what I mean is send somebody over to talk to the what's that fancy name word they use? Guru. The guru. There we go. Yeah, shifter lord. Guru lord specifically. Yeah, the guru. Yeah, we might need to send. Yeah, aren't you guys? Isn't your clan usually the safest ones to send over there?
And not. Usually, our clan is because we tend to have a little more thought process towards their lines. And I'm sure Jade might have already told you, Bo, but there already is a talk within the works. If you would like to be in attendance for that particular thing, I definitely say you are more than welcome to, if nothing else, as a impartial party, because technically you may be Camarilla, but let's be honest, we know your clan, we know what you are, so you still are kind of, you still have your own thought process. Maybe a neutral, somewhat neutral party would be more comfortable for the group as well. The meeting is going to be a little more interesting, so we haven't exactly narrowed it down. Out of character-wise, basically, Holly and I have been trying to establish something. There was something that was already in the works that I wasn't aware, she wasn't. she didn't know about. So we've had to change some things. Hence why James no longer has contacts with the group because new leadership. That's basically how I broke it down. But yeah, we will begin. We will begin to talking with the heads of the various World of Darkness organizations to attempt some kind of knowledge base, if nothing else. This meeting with the GRU.
I think the binary would be a great place. Binary would probably be a great place.
Yeah, we figure we're going to have to do something close to where they feel comfortable, somewhere where they feel safe. So that's not a problem. I mean, we'll deal with whatever it is if it eases the tension.
And with that, Ian needs to actually start heading off because I have a dental appointment in the morning. It's
Okay.
not going to
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I basically got. We'll just quickly go through. James comes in. Harvey explains that with use of his discipline, he was able to determine that you were telling the truth about saying you're not a hunter. That all harpies were in agreement. That we need to begin interviewing all the new kindred and maybe see if the other factions will start doing the hardcore interview on their end, just to find out, because these hunters could be a problem. James, of course, agrees, because, yeah, that would be very detrimental.
I disagree with the harpies at your own risk.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they're harpies for a reason, But yeah, so, and once that all ends, like you said, since you need to get going, so basically everybody just kind of breaks up. Once everything's established. That weird guy in the suit that stayed quiet and ordered a blood wine. As you leave the little meeting, he's still there. You notice he's taken an interest in all the people that have probably been coming in and out of that room. He just kind of sips on his wine and just kind of watches, and then you see him kind of look at the time. Puts his glass down, puts another bill on the bar, and he just walks out.
Bo would lean over to Sven and go, "You know the owner of this place, right?
Hmm?
Can you arrange a picture of that person's face for me? Run through some contacts he showed a little too much interest in that.
Nods. Yes, we can get you that information.
And for you, Will, if when the picture gets sent to Beauregard, Beauregard will bum through the contacts and the influences to find out who, the 5 Ws.
Okay. To put it simple, and that way it's on record. Does he have any contacts that know about the spot?
Nobody has to follow. Don't know if that helps at all.
No, because this guy kind of stays behind the scenes, so he wouldn't be real on that. Out of character, it's one of the heads of the Savant. But in character, yeah. Other than the fact that he ordered a blood wine kind of open, I mean, that only leads you to believe that he's either ballsy or just, trying to show off for the humans. It's hard to tell, in bars like this, sometimes that happens. People order blood wine and make themselves sound cool.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna make a phone call. He just left. Influences the police. I got an influence in the police 4.
Okay.
I think I saw him with a tail light out if he's driving.
Okay. Well, that'll get you his.
And there might be a and he was seen in the back alley behind a nightclub.
Yep, that'd get enough information for the cops to be suspicious and at least stop him for questioning and get his information.
And a good checkout of his car, too.
Yeah. Okay. And on that, we'll actually leave it, and I'll leave what happens with the Sabat guy and the police meeting for the next session.
And, I'll use my contacts in the police to just kind of shuffle around the name of who saw the license, the light out and all that, so it wouldn't necessarily drag back to me and my influences.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more.